I'm drinking a Slap Fight IPA from Monday Night Brewing. It is Monday night, so that seems really fitting, and we are doing topic talks on, yes, a new couch. This is a new couch from the last one. This is only the second video I'm doing where I'm sitting down talking about some kind of creative topic on my couch, but this is gonna be the new setup for a while. So, I hope you like it. So I'll be the first to admit that I really want to be a filmmaker, like so badly. I want an audience and a following of people who love my work and watch it regularly and that I can interact with. Of course, like who doesn't, right? But what I really want to do is make films that energize people and inspire people and makes them want to get off the couch and go do something radical with their life and just get out there and just feel so pumped up after the video ends that, you know, the last thing they want to be doing is sitting there watching it. That really specific niche of creative work just really fills me up and brings me a lot of joy. So how do you become that and make money, right? That's the big question. So I'm just gonna go over a few things that I have and currently am doing to make that happen. And I admit it's so hard sometimes, and I even feel silly for trying and pursuing it, but my passion and drive and calling from God for it is so strong that I will never stop, and I'll do it for the rest of my life just because I enjoy it that much. So let's get into it. So first, I just want to share a personal story of how I got into video. I found out I liked making videos on accident. Back in the day when I was a kid, I used to take my mom's old home tape recorder that actually took those little mini tiny tapes, and I would just use my cap guns and make little Western films, and I would film the family, and I would do house tours and things like that. And then eventually my parents noticed that I was always playing with the camera, and I started making films in middle school and whatnot on the flip video. I don't know if you guys remember the flip videos, but there were those cool little slender like phone looking things where you had the USB drive that popped out, which was the coolest thing ever, right? You almost bought it just for that. It was so dope, and I remember just being like super stoked about having one of those. And my dad got me Pinnacle Studio like 6 or 12 or whatever it is. And it was just like the most bare bones editing software, but like I didn't even know that's like how it worked. And so that was like my earliest start in video. But I always thought, you know, this was like a silly thing I was just kind of doing, and like Hollywood stuff and high quality production was just like completely unattainable. So after high school, instead of pursuing what I love to do, I went into the military part-time and went to college for criminal justice in hopes of becoming a DEA special agent, which I came very close to being. And even in college and training for the military, I would constantly think about these silly, crazy video ideas that would pop in my head. I mean, I even kept a pen and notepad in my uniform hidden when I was training in the military that I would use solely for video ideas. As I was standing there bored or sitting around doing nothing, I would just literally think of visuals and movie ideas and short films and all kinds of stuff. So my sophomore year of college, I actually decided to just get serious with video as a hobby. So I bought a Canon T3i as my first camera, which I thought was the craziest thing ever, that I spent like, I think it was like $600 or $700 on it. And I thought it was just like, okay, this is serious. I have to make this a serious hobby now. I just spent like so much money on a camera, and I knew nothing about how DSLR or lenses or anything about video worked. But I remember being really inspired by the vloggers of the time. Like, you know, when YouTube vlogging was kind of really coming out as a new thing and a new niche, Casey Neistat and the big vloggers that were doing it with him at the time, I just thought it was a really cool way of storytelling and very attainable. And so I just figured, you know, I might as well give this a serious try. So I made some silly vlogs of my friends and I just doing stuff during the summer and messing around. And I ended up getting pretty good and upgraded my camera to a Sony A6500, I think was my first like decent camera or whatever, that shot 4K and like 1080, 120 and things like that. And after that summer of doing vlogs, I mean, I got so comfortable with shooting manual and just using cameras in general that I decided to kind of take it seriously, and I started getting some like just friends and family freelancing side gigs, and I decided to take it really seriously and maybe do a part-time kind of work thing with it. So instead of going out with friends and going on trips and stuff, I would instead stay home, stay up late at night and just watch YouTube. And I had a bunch of test projects with my friends where I would just help me learn and grow, and I would just test out things I learned on YouTube. And that worked really well for a while, but I kind of hit this wall where I just felt like I wasn't growing much and I was still kind of amateur, but I wanted to take it to the next level, but I needed like a mentor or someone to learn from. And so my church I was going to at the time actually had some really high quality videos. I just emailed the art director and asked if I could just come set up lights or watch or help out in any way. And he literally just replied, "Do you want to shoot our next like bumper intro video?" And I was like freaking out, excited, but also like terrified because I just thought like, I can't do that. And so I said, yeah, for sure, I can do that, no problem. And fake it till you make it, right? But I acted like I knew what I was doing, and I shot this whole bumper video. I wrote the whole script and idea for it, and the shot list, and I filmed and directed it, and then I edited the whole thing, and just did my best. And then I ended up getting a part-time job at this church. So I was just blown away. I was super stoked about it. And this was the point where I thought, wow, I can really make some money with this. Like, people find value in what I'm able to give. At this point, I was so far into my degree in criminal justice that I felt like I couldn't just like switch to film school. So I just decided a degree is better than no degree or being in school for like 8 years. So I just finished my degree and thought I'll still get a job in, a DEA agent or whatever else comes my way, and I'll do video on the side, but professionally. But I soon found out that was definitely not gonna work out. So after I graduated college, I actually deployed with my unit in the military to the Middle East, and I spent roughly 6 to 7 months over there. And man, that's when I found out I definitely wanted to pursue video. Didn't care how poor it made me. Like, this is not it for me. It's not fulfilling. It's rough. It's tiring. And all I could think about was videos. I brought my laptop and was editing photos and videos that I already had on there. And I even snuck my A6500 into my bag. And on my off time, I would, shoot stuff with friends and go to the safer cities around where we were, deployed to. And I would film stuff and come back and edit it. And I had a whole plan for it. And gosh, talk about no excuses, huh? I mean, I made my Instagram look like I was, out just traveling the world, but really I was deployed and moving around and going on missions and whatnot. So after I got home from deployment, I took a full-time gig with that church that I worked part-time for beforehand, just to kind of, get some money and do some video work while I was trying to figure things out. And after about a year of that, I felt kind of directionless and like I needed more. And I eventually got an internship with NASA as a video producer, just as something to put on my resume since I didn't have film school or anything like that, right? And so that was a huge learning experience. And I moved away from my hometown, thank goodness. And basically that internship with NASA turned into a remote full-time gig where I work from home, and I was able to just pay the bills and pursue freelancing on the side, as well as YouTube, and just really taking my Instagram seriously as well. So long story long, that's how I'm here making the content I want to make, pursuing filmmaking and YouTube. It was hard. I had to make sacrifices and take risks and take a leap of faith a few times. And throughout the whole time, I had to just explain to people what I was doing and why I was doing it. And a lot of them just totally didn't understand. And it was awkward, and I felt kind of silly and stupid sometimes for making the decision to be a filmmaker, and even calling yourself a videographer or a filmmaker or a photographer or whatever it is. And everyone doesn't know you as that. It's awkward. Like, you feel stupid, like, oh, I'm not that. But you don't become anything by, not doing it a lot and then calling yourself that. Like, that's how you get into new things and become that. So, that was awkward and tough, but totally worth it in the end. So now I'm just gonna go through a few things of how to become the filmmaker that you wanna be. These are like not mind-blowing things, but they're really practical and they're things I learned from my experiences. So here we go. Call yourself a filmmaker. You have to tell everyone around you that you are a filmmaker. I mean, you're gonna feel stupid and awkward and it feels like you aren't that, but you have to call yourself whatever you want to become and actually believe it yourself, you know? And if it changes, it changes. Like, I call myself a photographer and a videographer and then a filmmaker. It'll probably change again even now, but it's whatever you're currently doing. I mean, just call yourself that and people will get used to it and they'll start using it when they talk about you to other people. And there you go, you're a filmmaker now. So it's really as simple as that. But be careful, that actually brings me to my next point, actually being good at telling stories cinematically. Obviously you have to be kind of good and know a thing or two about filmmaking to be a filmmaker. And I know what you're thinking, a filmmaker is someone who makes films. And in the traditional sense, you always think of films as like Hollywood movies and these, you know, feature length type of documentaries or narratives or whatever it is. But I want to share a definition with you that really helped me kind of, you know, be okay with calling myself a filmmaker and actually believing it. So the definition that I really kind of, you know, identify with is filmmaking is the process by which a motion picture is produced, starting with an initial story, idea, or commission, which is literally what I do for everything I make. You know, it always starts with an idea or a concept or an inspiration or something interesting like that that I think I can tell a story off of, or is something that I'm passionate about. If it answers a question or takes you on a journey of finding an answer or a solution or, you know, working through something, that is a great film. You know, it can be 1 minute, it can be 3 minutes, it can be an hour and a half feature. So filmmaking has changed a lot, but it's really just telling a story that means something to you and that you're passionate about. But if you can do that, then you've got yourself a film. You know, whether it's actually on film stock, your iPhone, digital, whatever it is, if you're passionate about it and it is a good story with one of those things that I listed, then it's filmmaking and you're a filmmaker. It's still a story, still a motion picture, still filmmaking. So the next thing is making relative content. Basically making content that pushes you further into the filmmaking that you want to do. I see it so often that people get into videography or photography or whatever, and they, you know, get into the weddings and the local mom and pop shop promos and things like that, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what fills you up, then please do that. Like, I had a blast doing that at one time. But if you like making narrative short films or music videos or commercial brand ads, then staying in weddings and local promo videos is not gonna fill you up. It's gonna lead to burnout and you're not gonna become the filmmaker that you wanna be. You have to shoot the content that you want to end up doing. You know what I mean? Even though it's not glorious at first, or you have to do spec ads that aren't actually, you're not getting paid for or you didn't get hired for, but you have to shoot the content of the kind of filmmaker that you want to be. And for me, that's really cinematic stuff. I really like that. You know, heavy color grades, interesting editing, emotion arousing performances by actors, stuff like that, right? So I found that commercial ads, which is mainly what I've been doing, didn't scratch that itch for me. And I found that making music videos allowed me to express myself, to do heavy, stylistic, cinematic kind of videos. And so, you know, moving forward, I fully plan to do more music videos and kind of make that my thing right now, you know, and making commercial ads just wasn't getting me closer to the type of filmmaking that I wanted to do, even though it pays really well, and, you know, I'm kind of starting over with the whole music video industry, but, you know, I couldn't sit there and watch the kind of filmmaking I want to make just pass me by. So, you know, moving forward, I'll be making a lot of music videos, and doesn't mean I'm not going to be making commercial ads. Doesn't mean you can't either. But sometime, you know, whether it's paid or not, or in your free time, make sure you're doing the filmmaking that's going to get you closer to the type of filmmaking that you enjoy and that you really want to do. Don't get stuck making content you hate, please. It actually hurts my soul to see other filmmakers and videographers get stuck making content they hate. And the last thing I found that helps is hanging out with like-minded people. This is something I recently realized that has really helped my personal growth and my career growth. Find some people to hang out with that are equally as stoked about filmmaking as you, especially the very specific type of filmmaking that you want to do. You want a group of people that you can talk for hours about your creative ideas and their creative ideas, and you can have honest feedback where they're not just gonna tell you, oh, that's great, oh, that's cute, oh, that's, you know, professional, even though they either have no credibility saying that or, you know, they're lying to you. You need someone who is, you know, equally kind of yoked with you in your filmmaking process and has the same, you know, frequency of creativity as you, so that way you guys can grow together and help each other and collaborate. And for me personally, it's been huge when I'm in creative ruts or, you know, I have an idea that I don't think a lot of people would understand. Like, they understand me and what I'm trying to do, even though it feels silly that I'm pursuing, you know, this YouTube or Instagram kind of thing. Normal people don't get that, but these people will get that. And, you know, when you're in a rut or you're feeling down or something about it or kind of burnt, you know, when I meet with these people, I get fired up. You know, I get coffee with Hugh like usually once a week, and I meet with other filmmakers, you know, a couple times a month, just to kind of keep me going and keep me excited. And just, you know, it's just nice to be with people who are doing the same thing you are and want the same thing for themselves and for you. And so it's just so important to find these healthy, creative relationships with other, you know, filmmakers or whatever you're trying to pursue. And it's a perfect relationship because they take you and your work seriously and what you're trying to do, because they're trying to do the exact same thing. So I'm a wannabe filmmaker just trying to figure things out, which is exactly what this channel is. I'm just kicking it over here, making content that inspires me and hopefully inspires you too. These are the things I'm doing every day to help me become the filmmaker I want to be, and hopefully they can help you do the same thing. So stay creative out there, do good things. Thanks for sticking with me through this whole entire video. I know it was long. Comment a squid in the comment section below if you made it all the way through to this point. No one will have any idea what the heck you are doing, but we will know. And I'll see you in the next video.